What's going on YouTube? Hey guys, this is Ben, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to not burn out. Now, the first thing that I think is super important for you to know is how to recognize what burnout is and what it is not. So, a quick little side note / disclaimer. I am not a doctor, but I do want to say that if you're in bed all day, if you are lazy all day, if you're not getting up, if you're not doing anything and you are totally feeling hopeless, you may be experiencing clinical depression, and that's something that you need to speak with your doctor about, or at minimum seek, assistance from a counselor or someone like that, and they will be able to help you out with that. And I would highly encourage that you seek out that help if that's where you're at right now. Now, for everybody else, it's still super important for you to understand what burnout exactly is and what it is not. What was interesting is I recently read an article by Jeff Bezos where he was discussing the early stages of Amazon when he was building the company and how stressed he felt and what stress actually means to us and the way we use the term today. So anybody and everybody can pretty much say that they're super stressed out and everything's so stressful to them, yada, yada, yada. But the way he actually explained it is that stress isn't a real thing. Stress is just an emotion that you feel, and sometimes stress can be good, sometimes stress can mean that something needs to change. In essence, meaning that stress isn't an actual real thing. It's just a way that we feel sometimes, and if it is real, it actually just means that something needs to change. You're not really just stressed. Because the way he described it is that you could be working your butt off on a project or on building a business or on your 9-to-5 job or anything and be super stressed out, but not actually, feel like you're completely burnt out or you're completely done, but just feel really intensely involved in the project. I kind of took away from that the idea that stress means something needs to actually change. Otherwise, you're just feeling like you're really involved in what you're doing and it's really intense. And sometimes that can take you into burnout and sometimes that can't. So that might get a little bit confusing, but let's go right into kind of what burnout is and what it isn't. So based on all the research I have done about stress and burnout and basically laziness, all that sort of stuff, and depression and everything, I've come to determine that burnout means that you have actually come to a point where something needs to change. And it can come in any of the following forms. So the first one is that you might actually feel a real hatred or disdain for your 9-to-5 job or your business, meaning you might actually get disgusted at thinking of the idea of expanding and working on your business, on your entrepreneurial venture, or going into your 9-to-5, and you may literally get, repulsed at the idea of sitting down at your desk working on the day-to-day tasks that you've been doing for maybe even years. That could be a point of burnout for sure. Another one that's really common is actual bodily symptoms, okay? So feeling the onset of headaches, that haven't been there before, or maybe having anxiety that hasn't been there before and getting panic attacks, or even things like having changes in your digestive system and having intestinal problems or things like that. Bodily changes like that tell us things and they mean things. And when people say listen to your body, they really do mean listen to your body, because that's a huge sign that you actually could be very burnt out at what you're doing, whether it's your 9-to-5 or whether it's you being an entrepreneur. The next sign of actual burnout could be actually not wanting to do anything, meaning complete apathy towards basically everything. And that includes things outside of work. So I'm talking about feeling tired from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go back to bed. And maybe that means you're staying in bed all day, just kind of putzing around and hanging out on the internet, not really doing anything and not really wanting to do anything, whether that be going to the grocery store or changing your clothes, doing your laundry, just being really apathetic and depressed basically towards everything and having no care or desire to actually follow up on things that your business needs, or maybe even show up to work and using all of your sick time or something like that. That could be a real sign of burnout as well. One sign of burnout that can be extremely recognizable is actual metrics, right? So we all have KPIs and metrics that we track of some sort or another. And if you simply go to work or work on your business and you're actually just going through the motions and not producing anything, but you're basically just being there and just kind of handling things and acting as if you're doing something, but you're not really accomplishing anything. That could be a huge sign of burnout, especially if that persists for a long period of time. And I'm talking about, 30 days or longer where you're not really producing and you're not doing anything. That could be a definite sign of burnout. So knowing that you're burning out, you're about to burn out, or you already have burned out isn't enough. We actually want to know what we need to do at the point of either burning out or having already burned out. How do we fix it? What's the solution? So the purpose of this video is to go through and give you kind of a step-by-step of what you can do to prevent burnout or actually fix burnout and, get back to your normal pace. So let's go into that. One of the biggest things people seem to neglect, which is so insanely ridiculous to me, is themselves. Yourself, your actual self-care. And that means just simple things like going and getting a massage or just giving yourself some time off. And that might mean just sitting on the couch for 4 hours to watch some junk reality TV or whatever it might be, right? Give yourself some relaxation time. Give yourself some breathing room. The next solution that I would give to someone who is burning out, on the midst of burnout, or has already burned out is to socialize. Yes, get around a bunch of friends, hang out with people, reconnect with people that you haven't talked to in years, and just go out and have a drink or go out and do happy hour, get a meal, grab lunch, do whatever, take a walk, just hang out with someone and socialize. People-to-people interaction is how we are wired, okay? This is how we're designed to interact. We were put on this earth basically to work with each other and have interactive conversations and interactive experiences. So socialization is a huge thing that can actually reverse your burnout as well as stop your burnout if it's on the cusp of taking you over. So socialize more. One of the biggest things that you need to take a look at if you're on the cusp of burnout or if you've already burnt yourself out is your daily habits, right? So this means things like diet and exercise. So not to sound like a doctor, I'm just going to play one on YouTube, but here's the deal. If you're staring at a computer screen all day long for 5 hours straight, sending out emails and looking at nothing but the blaring blue light that comes out of this thing and not doing anything else, you need to take breaks, okay? It's absolutely mandatory for your mental health and your bodily health that you take at least a 15-minute break every single hour. So getting back to diet and exercise, okay, this means basically, eating 3 healthy, balanced meals per day, and at minimum, hopefully taking a 20-minute to 30-minute walk every single day in the middle of the day or in the afternoon, whenever it's convenient for you, hopefully outside so you can get some fresh air. Listen, I'm guilty of a lot of these things that I'm talking about as well. I've been on the cusp of burnout too many times, and I don't always eat the right way or get my daily exercise in the right way. And it's important for me as well, as just as much as you watching this video, that you incorporate these things into your day-to-day activities. Have I mentioned sleep yet? I don't think I have, and it's huge. Listen, if you're burning out or if you've already burned out, here's the deal. You have to get your sleep schedule on point. And so many people undercut this. They absolutely do not think that this is a huge part of their burnout or of their stress or of their depression or whatever it might be. But here's the deal. Get 6 to 8 hours. It's different for everybody. Some people can work on 6. Some people need their 8. Maybe it's 8.5 for you. But bottom line, get 6 to 8 hours a night and do it on a regular schedule. So go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time. This has so many different studies that have proven that this has actually propelled people into greater success that they were in previously had they just had a random sleep schedule. No screen time, computer or phone for about an hour to an hour and a half before you actually fall asleep. So do something like read a book if you must, entertain yourself, or just kind of space out and meditate. That's a really good one. Okay, so let's circle back to why burnout happens in the first place and talk about your daily work tasks and habits. Now, if you're watching this channel, you're probably pretty enterprising. You might be an entrepreneur. You might be working a 9-to-5, heading into entrepreneurship. I don't care what it is, but bottom line is you have to develop a strategy for your work. You might be trying to accomplish something really, really big, and ultimately that's not going to happen overnight. So you have to bite-size that down into chunks that you can actually accomplish every single day. you can't build a business overnight no matter what. I mean, you just can't. It's not going to happen. I know we all wish that we could do everything at once, and usually that's what leads us to things like burnout and stress and depression and whatnot. But the deal is you have to be strategic about the way you do things and take your big accomplished idea and chunk it up into bite-sized pieces that you can do every single day so that you can actually feel accomplished while actually getting something done every single day and working towards your ultimate goal. So listen guys, at the end of the day, burnout is a real thing. I went through it myself personally at my 9-to-5 job, and it's what prompted me to propel myself into creating my recruiting agency and, staying in that space and being an entrepreneur. And I'll really never look back because it prompted me to change something. And usually, if nothing that I've mentioned, in this video that you've tried before or that you're going to try ends up working out for you, it usually means that you've truly burned out. And what true burnout means is that you probably need to change something. So if you're working a 9-to-5 right now, it might mean that you're ready to take that leap and get out of that 9-to-5 and become an entrepreneur and start that business that you've been dreaming up and planning. Or it might mean that you need to change 9-to-5s and get to a different job just because your work environment is just not conducive to your mental health in some way or another. So at the end of the day, I would say that something does need to change if you are truly burnt out and none of these strategies are working for you. And that's really the ultimate word on burnout. The last thing I want to say about burnout and depression and stress and whatnot is that if you're truly struggling, and by struggling I mean really suffering, and nobody knows you better than yourself, but if you're truly suffering and feeling the pains of the things that I'm talking about in this video, I would highly encourage you immediately to go and set up an appointment with a counselor or talk to your doctor about it and speak to them about your real feelings and how things are going for you, because it might be something more than just stressful feelings and burning out from doing tasks over and over or getting overwhelmed. It might be something more medical and clinical, and that's really important for you to address with a counselor. And that's something I've done myself before. Spoken to a counselor about stress and anxiety in my life, whether it's work related or not, and it's totally normal. So I would encourage anyone that has those issues to definitely get on that, talk to a doctor or a counselor, and they'll be of much help to you. And you'll thank yourself definitely for doing so. So anyways, guys, that's all I've got today for Sunday. Hope you're having an awesome weekend and hope that you're going to have an awesome Monday starting tomorrow. I will catch you guys and take care.